Hi, David here. So let me show you something. On the Hackages learning platform, there is this exercise where you give people like a set of challenges, right? And whenever people actually do these exercises, for some people, we take the time to go and review their code, and then we send them on the platform the review of their code. So here I'm gonna do one here live, and then show you how that process will work, and hopefully you learn some stuff in between. So what happens here is you have code on the left. On the right here is basically a set of tests, and on the left is the implementation that the person did on the platform, right? So one of the cool things about this is because it's all tested, you can start playing around with the implementation once everything is green, right? So the way people receive the code at first is basically like this: no parameter, no return value, and no implementation. That's it. That's what they get from the beginning. And their job is to build it and then go back to this position and then have everything green. So that implementation is correct because everything is green. However, there are a few ways that same thing could have been done, right? And I'm gonna show you some of the ways right here. Right. The first thing here is, here it's a add string, which means that you're going to receive multiple string like Hackages learning platform or Hackages, and you just get it as one block like that, right? So to get to that point,
who was enjoying himself and had a ton of success in the process. I like that. I like seeing different people who play the game with different ways. And he's definitely somebody who's interesting. We talked about a bunch of his projects.
So to get to that point, here what you see is using a reduce and then pass a function right there, and then get to this point, right? So the first thing I can do here is basically to see, like, okay, here when you do args, let me go back a little one step behind. I just go args here. You see it receive hello world, right? So that's just two things. Because it's an array, and array has this method called join, you can basically do this, and then, for example, the result of this, if I do res like this, you see it says hello world, which means that here I can instead of passing it that way, that's my vim config fighting with me, I can basically say, hey, let me pass that, like, or give it a space, or give it that hyphen there, right? And then it's just expanding from that point on, right? So what we really need here for our test is the fact that every single string here will just give you that space in between. So we don't have to go further and just put this like that, right? So if I do this, I can then actually just return that line and then comment out everything here at the bottom, and our test should still be passing, right? So that's basically one way. So we went from reduce here to that. One thing we can probably add about reduce is, if you go here and then keep that implementation, is I'm a huge fan of reduce, and I also like the clarity in mind of saying, if you have reduce over here, what you could do is this is the basically the function that's gonna reduce from where you're starting to where you're going. But that thing there takes a second argument here. For example, that could be whatever you want. And if I do put something right there, you see my tests are breaking, right? You see now they're all red here. If I go like that, so here you have you don't put anything, because it's going to start just from an undefined position and start adding things right there. But if you use reduce, it's good to be explicit about explicit about the initial value you go with. Okay, so that's basically the scenario here. So now we have that implementation. That is also working. Some people might think this is fancy, right? So you could also simply go with a really dumb implementation. I said dumb, but it will be a valid implementation that will say const, let's use a let here, res, and then we're just gonna start with nothing here, and since args, it's an array, so what we could simply do is to say for, and we're going to use a for int loop. So we go from there, and then we're gonna go from there to the args length, right? And then we're just gonna increase from there, and for each element of that, we're just gonna add it to the res, like this one, right? And you see right away, so if I comment out this and then return res, I should have, so this is not passing. So what is the issue? The issue here is, if I see here, it's hello, so it starts here, it's going to have args index start at 0. So the thing we just need to do is to look at it. So here we see that indeed something is happening, but we're not actually passing we're not giving that space, right? So we could just say here, we could give it a little bit of space like that, and let's see what we got. We have hello world indeed, but what is happening there? No, I need that plus. Yeah, I need the plus to concatenate that. Now, what is happening over there? We keep on adding. Oh yeah, okay. It's actually the other way around. It's the other way around. So what we're gonna do is just to say a plus space here, right? And because it's gonna be all the way at the end, we're just gonna do a trim like this, and then it's just gonna remove that thing completely at the end, because here we're adding it toward the end, and then we're just going that way, right? So actually, if you're wondering, I'm using an extension called Wallaby.js. I'm not sponsored by them. It's just a tool that allows me to do exactly what you just saw there. It allows me to just move fast in debugging and moving and writing code, right? So here we have actually 3 implementation, right? This one use a loop. This one use a simple join because it's an array, and this one use a reduce, right? So these are all valid implementation, and as you see, all the tests are green. So which other implementation could we do here? Let me see. Another one could basically say, if you have an arg and you want to be able to do just put them in one. I'm actually doing this live, so I might not get this to work, but it's an array. So if I can loop through the array, I have a few options there. I have for each, but for each is kind of the loop that I just did there. I could do map, but map's gonna return me another array that I can do things with that array, so that's not really the way it will work. I'm thinking of ways that can be really efficient. It's not about efficiency really, it's more about what other things are possible right here. I'm running out of ideas, so let's see. Args is an array, and we just want to turn every single element in this array to concatenate them and make them available as one. I think I have them all here for now. Maybe you have other options. So let's say this one was 1. this one here is 2, and this one here is 3, right? And yeah, that's about it. And then if you are on the Hackages platform, and if you did this exercise, and yeah, you're probably going to receive, because we don't do code review for everyone, but we select a few people that do the exercise, and we pick a random exercise there. Especially if we see that, oh, the code they wrote, they kind of struggle with it, we can send you code review. So yeah, that's it. Let me, which implementation did you like? Let me know. Is this one, this one? Which one would you do if you were to do a code review? Which one would you let go through, right? In my case, I think the first 2 works. I feel like reduce here will be it's too big of a hammer to just nail that thing. So I will probably just go with this one here, right? That will be my implementation, right? So happy to know yeah, your feedback here, and have a good one, people. Cheers.